When I was a kid, I remember the story of Heidi, the girl that spent summers with her grandfather up in the Austrian Alps. And we did actually spend a summer there, and I always wanted to go back and experience it. So a few years ago, we did find this perfect cabin or hut up on a mountain meadow, and I always wanted to go back where the life is a lot simpler, where you listen to cowbells and cows grazing on rich mountain meadows and pastures, and where life is just really simple. And in this video, I want to take you along to this experience that has been so meaningful to me. Everything is just so beautiful and simple. All you need is some clean water that keeps running down from mountain springs right into this trough right in front of the cabin. Mornings are always different and misty often, but once you get up, you don't press a button. You actually have to slow down and do it like it used to be many decades or maybe even centuries ago. We love this wood stove that you need to light a fire. It's actually not very cold here in this cabin in October, but you still need to light a fire before you can even do anything, before you can have your first cup of coffee. And it reminds you of what modern convenience we have these days and how we simply just press a button and we can even set a timer and we get up and we might even have our coffee all ready to go. This life here reminds you that it used to be different, and oftentimes we don't even know how to light a fire. And even though this stove is extremely well built and we believe it's some 200 years old, it works surprisingly well. But you have to acquire some skills and you have to learn your craft a little bit and figure out how to do things. But it is actually surprisingly satisfying. And again, I love slowing down and savoring the moment, smelling the scent of coffee permeating through the hut before I can even really enjoy my first cup of coffee. But when I do, I just absolutely love it, and it's almost like an accomplishment, like something you have done before you even did anything else during the day. And of course, yes, there is the coffee, the modern convenience, and not having to get up at 4:30 in the morning and maybe even tending to cows. But this is the life that I feel like every so often we have to go back to. It is a simple life with very few conveniences, and again, you actually get down to what's most important. Most important, I feel like, is spending time with family, being healthy, eating nourishing food, and being intentional about what you're doing, about your life, your conveniences, and every so often just reflecting on what life is really about and what really matters most in life. And again, it is a simple life with hanging laundry out in the sun, but it actually smells really good. However, I love to explore the nature around the cabin and picking some wildflowers, which are so many there, every different type of flower, and arranging them into a bunch of flowers to decorate. It's a way to bring the nature inside and to create a little bit of beauty in this otherwise very simple and rustic and minimalistic cabin. This is also a habit of taking your shoes off outside, leaving the outside world outside, and honoring the life inside the cabin. It's a simple, like I said, 200-year-old cabin, but it is absolutely beautiful. And with some flowers, it's a lot more pleasing to the eye. Again, life is very simple. We sometimes forget how it used to be, that we didn't have modern convenience. We didn't have electricity. We couldn't just plug things into the wall and make everything happen at the snap of a finger, but actually slowing down and knowing what you're doing in the moment with very little that there is. The nature around the cabin is just absolutely stunning, and I love to explore it. I love to go with the seasons to follow the cows on the mountain meadows. And I have to say that I am a little bit glad I'm not one of those shepherds that had to milk the cows and then either make cheese right on the mountain or carry the milk all the way down to the village, because there's nothing you can really do with the milk and the cheese all the way up there. Even though this is late September, early October, I was absolutely amazed that there is still so much going on, and these are blueberries. And the more time you take and the more you look, the more you find. And we went and started picking blueberries. These are small, wild blueberries, not the big ones you buy in the store that are not very flavorful, really, honestly, and are just big, and they're not even really all that juicy. But these ones, they're small, they're flavorful, they're absolutely delicious. And the more I looked, the more I just kept on getting my hunting instinct going, or my gathering instinct rather. And yes, we're not the only ones who are enjoying blueberries up in these regions. It is an area of absolutely stunning beauty and cultural heritages, and just so worth exploring and spending your time in, and just being out in nature, in the green, and moving. Yes, we are going for a lot of hikes up steep mountains. We did get some sore muscles when we were hiking up some pretty tall mountains, but every view just reminds you of how small we as people are, and how sometimes almost immaterial our problems are, because a lot of them are self-made and don't really have to be. And when you're up there, it is so majestic, and you're so small amongst all this. Again, back to the simple life in a warm cabin with a good fire going in the wood stove. And it actually is almost a little bit too warm in the living room, in that living area. Then it is too cold, which makes it so cozy and perfect for cooking for family and enjoying really good hearty food. When the days draw to a close, you just feel satisfied. Your soul is satisfied, your heart is satisfied, and you have just done really good work, and basically went back down to the basics in the evening, preparing for a very good night's sleep in a very cozy bed. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.